How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to some more Phantom Hourglass. Today's video is quite a longer one. There's going to be a lot of side stuff covered today. Some of it's kind of boring stuff. Some of it's actually pretty interesting. But for the most part, I'm not too big of a fan of fishing when it comes to video games, which is going to be a lot of what the stuff in this video is. But that's just personal preference. Maybe some of you guys really enjoy fishing. But personally, I don't know, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. Like, I guess it's kind of okay in Animal Crossing when you're trying to fill out your encyclopedia and whatnot, but for the most part, I never really found too big of any sort of interest in that sort of thing. It was just always, I don't know, just hard to sit through it. I guess I can't say that I would never be interested in fishing particularly, but just for the most part, it's hard to get into. I mean, you can only have fishing done so many ways, you know? But this new island here is going to be where we're going to be getting our sort of upgrades for Link. And the way that works is that you gotta use power gems. We've seen power gems already. Or not power gems, just gems in general. Like, you got the courage gems, you got the wisdom gems, and the power gems. So the way it works is, for every 10 you get, you're gonna get a little bonus. And once you get 10 power gems, I believe your attack power is doubled, which is very useful. And once you get 10 wisdom gems, your defense is doubled. Or, I don't think, well, I can't do the math particularly well, but Actually, I don't know. It might be halved, it might be quartered. I don't remember what the first one is. But then once you get 10 more, it'll double the effect of that, or I don't know if it doubles it or not. Because with 20 power gems, you'd be like doing 4x damage. Quadruple. So I don't know if that's particularly how it works, but maybe that's how it works. I'm not sure. And courage gems just give you sword beams, which are not really exciting, but if you want the sword beams, you can put that on. And also with that, you do need to switch between the fairies in your collection menu to swap between their effects. You can't have all on simultaneously, but that would be a bit overpowered. So I think for the most part, I may just stick with defense, depending on the fight, but maybe I'll go with offense every now and then. We'll just have to see how the boss fights go and whatnot, but we can actually get the power gem upgrade within one of the next few videos. I believe we only have to go one more temple with our current offense, and then we're going to be doing pretty well, so that's exciting news for sure. But unfortunately, I don't think there's really anything too exciting at this island. And once again, this is going to be a post-commentated video, just because the length of it, and sometimes the recordings just, like with the audio, some things take me multiple attempts, like when you have to blow things out or whatnot, or just the sound of the stylus hitting the screen over and over. It can kind of be a little annoying, so best way to just get rid of all that is just to do it later, commentary, so that's what I'm doing. And this spirit here is just explaining how the gems work. We can present them to her, him, whatever it is, but it's not going to do much since we don't have 10, so we just gotta keep going with our current setup. So, as I said earlier, there's going to be fishing in this video, and the way some of that works is you have to pull down on the screen. I believe it says you just tap, but you actually have to hold your stylus down on the screen when it comes to the fishing time. So that could be why, if you're struggling with fishing, you might not be doing the best, just because the game does a kind of poor job of explaining what actually needs to be done. So just make sure that you're doing the best you can, you know? And then we can head back here. There's going to be, I believe, a power gem. Or not a power gem. It might be a power gem. I can't remember. It's been a while since I filmed this video. But we can dig up some rupees in the basement, I believe, which are going to be in these spots here. And one thing I've noticed, that it seems like the further along in the game you get, the less scarce rupees are. And I guess it's the treasure map. So there's always going to be beneficial ways to make rupees, like coming forward. It's really just early game that you kind of have to get through, which we're doing alright so far in terms of rupees. Um, there is one thing, I believe it's pretty expensive, that you can buy from Beetles at night. I think it has to be at night, and it's specific days of the week as well. So I'm going to have to figure out what day of the week that is, and then make sure I record that, just so that it's here. Because I originally never knew about it. Like I said, I think in a previous video, that my current profile that I have underneath this one in the game, I used an action replay on that once I got towards the late game, just because I was struggling quite a bit. But this is going to be my first time really playing everything legit, so I'm looking forward to how everything goes. Hopefully things go smoothly. Hopefully there's no issues along the line, but I think for the most part I should be fine, as long as I'm following the guide for the most part. And I never have it around, because I did film this quite a while ago, and since then I've cleaned my room up a bit, so I'm not sure at the moment where the guide is. I think I'm actually 2 temples ahead in terms of recording, so I've already done the temple that I haven't even gotten a video up for yet, and I'm ahead of the one after that, so I think I'm going to settle down for a bit, stop playing the game, just catch up on getting all these videos ready and whatnot, and just kind of go from there. So there are a few cuts in the video just to kind of pass the time, and just get rid of all the boring stuff like traversal and whatnot. You can buy ship parts from Beetle, which I think there's better ways to get ship parts. We do want to buy the Wisdom Gem now, just so that we have it, and don't forget about it later on. Ship parts, just, you can buy them if you really feel like it. The only way to really get I was trying to say a membership and a benefit at the same time. The only way to get a benefit is if you have a full set, which we currently do not, so can't do anything there. And I think the way that the Beatles membership works is that you have to spend, I think it's 100 rupees to get 1 point. So it's going to take quite a bit of rupees just to get your membership up, but I think the reward is like discounts and whatnot. You can get discounts off of something. I forget how it all works, but I know there's some goodies that come along with making progress in terms of buying stuff. And then through here, we just got to follow that map that was on that island with the shovel to get through the fog. It's fairly lenient from what I've experienced here. Just kind of want to be as close as you can without really hitting any of the rocks. So I did speed this up to make it go a little bit faster. I think it's set at like 4x speed, just because this is kind of a boring part to get through. And then once we're here, you're going to see that we have these 2 islands here, and I believe there's one hidden island as well, which we'll see later on. So now we can just enjoy the rest of our time through this fog, and, you know, really enjoy the beauty of it, because it's foggy. Perhaps not something that they really experience very often in Hyrule. I don't know. I guess there's 2 hidden islands here, because there's that one there, but I don't think we're close enough to see it in the magnifying glass or the telescope. And there's going to be one off to the right in the rocks, sort of below the X, but on this side of the map. And then we do want to be sure to hit these rocks eventually, or not hit the rock, hit the frogs eventually, because we're going to be getting our warp slate this video, which is going to allow us to warp wherever there's a frog. But I believe you do have to shoot the frogs first, so you know the symbol. Although the symbols can be found like anywhere online if you're curious. For this island, this is where we're going to get our ability to fish, which, as I said, I'm not too thrilled by it. It's more tedious than anything, in my opinion, but it's still something new for the game that I never really experienced when I was younger. As far as I can remember, I don't remember fishing in this game at all until I did this video, so it was a new experience, at least that I can remember. So he is just explaining to us this is where they go about fishing, and then finding it is referring to the mermaid, which is actually on this island. And spoiler alert, it is not actually a mermaid. It is just a lady dressed up in a mermaid outfit, which She must have a lot of stamina to be able to stay in the ocean so long without drowning. Gotta give her props for that, but one way or another, we do have to find her. Because this dude has a weird obsession with mermaids. Or at least this mermaid, so we're gonna help him out. Now, whether or not this counts as kidnapping, I don't think so, because the girl is gonna consent to becoming his mermaid. I don't know what exactly goes on after Link leaves the island, but I don't think it's any ill-intentioned stuff, because she's still alive at the end of the game, as far as I know. So we're just gonna assume that nothing bad is gonna happen to her. And I think these are ropes, if I'm not mistaken. You know, playing through this game, it kind of makes me... Oh, there's the mermaid. Playing through this game, it kind of makes me... I don't know, I guess... kind of nostalgic for this whole style of Zelda game. Like, with Spirit Tracks, Wind Waker, and this game, just... I feel like the traversal was a lot more enjoyable than it can be in some of the other games. Like, for example, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. You know, I think they're solid games. They're not my favorite, but I do think they're good. But traversal in those games, just having to warp everywhere, load screens, whatnot, I would take train travel and the boat travel, I think, over some of those things. Now, maybe that would change with the Switch 2. See how the loading times improve, and maybe that would change my opinion about it, but I don't know. I miss this sort of traversal with the smaller areas and whatnot. Well, not to say this game has a very small map, but still, it's smaller than Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Not as I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but Echoes of the Wisdom, I feel, was better sized map. And then I think Echoes of Wisdom's map size is probably my favorite size map for a Zelda game. Like, I really like the Oracle games map sizes and whatnot. It's just, I think Oracle games might have my favorite map size, just in general, for the 2D games. I guess, is this game considered 2D or not? I don't really know. But I'm still hoping on an Oracle remake someday. And apparently the mermaid thought that Linebeck was the fisherman, but I guess she figured it out probably as soon as he started talking, because he's kind of a cocky person, and, you know, I don't think a mermaid's just going to put up with that, so it's a little unfortunate for Linebeck, not for us. But we do get a nice little boat reward, being able to fish, so I guess that's kind of a plus, depending on how you look at it. So now we can fish. It's gonna take some getting used to, for sure. I don't know, it's easy enough, but I just don't like doing it, you know? You gotta enjoy fishing, I feel like, dude. Like, I think you have to enjoy fishing in real life to enjoy fishing in video games, or maybe that's not the case. Maybe there's some people that enjoy fishing only in video games, but hate fishing in real life. I don't know. I just don't know. But either way, we can make progress towards getting our next heart container, which will be from this guy. But unfortunately, we're not getting his heart container for quite a while, because even currently, where I'm at in the videos, I still don't have the heart container from him, just because it's a matter of RNG, getting a specific fish type to appear. So, it can be a little hassle if your RNG isn't the greatest. And we do need a specific lure to be able to do this properly. So, that is our first step here in catching the next fish. And in order to fish, you do need to be over the fish's shadow. And then, once you're over the shadow, you just activate the fish button, or fishing button, which is under the menu spot. So, easy enough to start it up, just gotta be over the fish shadow. And it does move slightly fast, but I believe the boat is faster. And I believe that it's after this next dungeon where we can get the salvage arm. Trying to remember the order things were in. So slowly but surely, we're going to catch up on the fish. And I'm pretty sure I cut some of these parts out chasing after the fish. It's just because I wanted to show this, like, actually it was happening. But yeah, there's quite a bit of fishing. I think that I even cut out from this video just because I kept catching some of the same fish over and over, and it's a hassle. It really is. Just RNG wise. Once you get the hang of fishing, it's not too big of a deal. It's a little annoying, but it's just catching the fish that you need. That's the biggest problem. And it's just surprising to me that this isn't even the first time Link's fished. I'm pretty sure the first time was in Link's Awakening. Someone can... Oh no. Yeah, Link's Awakening, I believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Link's Awakening, the first time we were able to fish in the Zelda game. Because I don't think you were able to fish in Zelda 2. There's no fishing in A Link to the Past. So, I think this is Link's Awakening is the first time, which... I don't know, I guess they always feel it's somewhat of a staple. I can't remember if you can fish in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild or not. So, at some point the fish does jump out of the water. You just want to make sure to let go of the bottom screen of the stylus. And you do want to pull down with your stylus in order to first catch it. And you also do want to like hold down on the bottom screen, the opposite side. So if the fish is on the right, you want to pull down on the left side of the screen without taking your stylus off. And then once it moves to the left, you pull it to the right, and then just keep doing that. Keep making the small circles, reel it in. And that's kind of all there is to it. It does require some patience. Sometimes the fish might put up a bit more of a fight than you'd expect, but all in all, it's not the worst thing that this game has to offer in terms of like mini games and whatnot. So if you can do this, you can probably make your way up to some of the more horrendous stuff in this game. Not to say it's a bad game, it's just some of the stuff is a bit tedious. I really like this game. But you will notice that my fishing isn't the greatest at the moment yet, just because I hadn't figured out how to fish yet. And I actually had to, I think, go to GameFAQs to figure out how this was done. Because some people were like talking about it in old forums and whatnot, and I was like, what the heck, how am I supposed to fish? Why isn't it working? And then I figured it out. So we got a skipjack, which is just one of the other fish that you can catch. And I don't think you can sell fish anywhere. I mean, you might be able to, but I don't think so. And then another heart piece we can get is from this guy. I don't know if I get it this part or later on in this video, but I did have to come back here a few times and just restart over and over. Just because I hadn't really figured out how to do it. But it's not too difficult once you get the hang of it. And I'm not sure what exactly the lore is with this game and why he has like the green tunic. I'm assuming it's kind of mocking Link in a way. But I don't really know for 100% certainty. I do know that his eyes are very strange. They seem to always be closed unless that's how they look when they're open. Which would be really weird. So you might actually have to do this first part before you can actually get the heart piece or heart container. We do get some nice treasure from him. And in terms of rewards you can get from this guy, you can get the heart container for 100 hits. But as for anything else, I am not sure. I think you can get maybe other treasure, maybe some heart pieces. I don't know for 100% certainty. But we do come back to it later, so if you want to, you could go back to him right now and just skip ahead if you don't know how to get that heart container from him. Just follow along in the video. But our next objective is going to be going after this fish, because I would like the lure, so that I can catch the bigger fish, which is required for the heart container. So for this part, you gotta hold down on the bottom screen with the stylus to catch it. If it lets go, then you're not holding down. And I'm pretty sure it's gotta be the opposite side of the screen that the fish is. But it might not have to be for the catching part. And then some of the fish do put up a bigger fight than others, just depends on their size, I believe. Maybe there's some RNG to it as well, but I think it's just fish size. And then this fish is actually one of the ones that we need to get the lure, so we can start catching the bigger fish. And once we get all the warps, getting around like all these islands is going to be a lot easier, and that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about as well. So this video, we are getting a slate. I think it's called the Cyclone Slate, maybe. But what it does is, as soon as I think you have to shoot the frogs first to get the warps to work. Because I think if you draw what the frogs would normally give you without shooting the frog, it won't teleport you. But once you shoot the frogs, they're going to give you like a little design. And there's one in the, I think it's southwest corner of the map. And then there's one in the northwest corner of the, or there's two in the southwest map. One in the northwest map. And then there's two on one of the east sides of the map, and then one on the next map, which I don't remember how exactly it goes, but I think it's kind of in the more convenient spots where they put the warps. They're not all ideal, but they're pretty well done, in my opinion. So now that we have this fish, we can go back to the island, give it to the fisherman, and he's going to give us a bigger lure, which we can use that lure to catch the bigger fish. And the way that the bigger fish work, from what I understand of it so far, what we're looking for is fish that are shaped like a swordfish on the bottom screen. They can appear alongside normal fish, like there'll be two fish on the map at the same time. And that's going to be what we're looking for most of the time, just for a swordfish to appear, which can take some time, because I don't think I saw any of this video in any of my playtime here, but they do appear eventually. And with the swordfish, the shapes, well actually, with the fish like that you see on the screen right now, you can get one of the bigger fish from those. You might be able to get the biggest fish from those, I'm not sure, but what we're mainly looking for is swordfish, because that has better odds getting the bigger fish that we need. So just kind of always be on the lookout for the swordfish icons, and that's the way that you're going to get your heart container, so we can have more life. So we can head back here, and we are going to give this dude the luvar, whatever it's called. And we're going to get a lure, which also lets us catch the bigger fish. It's like I always say, too many tongue twisters. Like everything's a tongue twister to me. I think I just talked too fast, probably. So now, I'm not 100% certain on this part, but there's two fish that I believe we have to catch. I don't think you can just catch one. I think you have to catch both of them to get the heart container, but personally, if you catch one of them, I would go back to the island, see what he says, and then catch the other one, just to kind of see how it works. Because maybe it works that way. Maybe you can just skip one of the fish, but I'm pretty sure you have to catch both the big fish in order for it to work. And then this island here, it's not really of any use at the moment, but we are going to have to come back here later on in the game, and it's actually going to be a part of the main quest. So you can head here now if you want to see what it's like, which is what I do in the video, just to show it off, but otherwise there's not really any reason to go back here at the moment. And actually, it probably would have made more sense to go to the island, the other hidden island, which is above Beetle, because that's where we get the Cyclone Slate. So I don't think there's anything we can really do at the moment besides pick up one of those chickens and then hop on the platform on the right, but you can walk in here, and this guy looks very similar to Ganondorf in my opinion, like a human form of Ganondorf. Because I don't know if the Gerudo are exactly human. But he does look a lot like Ganondorf for some reason. Or maybe like Ganondorf in a Rito. So maybe he isn't human, because he said humans talk loudly. I don't know. I thought Hylians were human. But I don't know. Either way, we can now head out here, pick up one of the chickens. And there's going to be a little platform over here, which I believe contains one of the gems. I think it's either a Wisdom or Courage gem. Wisdom gem, okay. So it seems like Power Gems are appearing the most frequently, and then Wisdom and Courage kind of the least frequently. And then what that little tombstone saying there is that we have to kind of make some diagonal lines on the map. And where they intersect is going to be where the treasure is hidden. But unfortunately, I guess I didn't do the greatest job of making the diagonal line, so I did have to dig around for a little bit. But it's alright, you know? It is a-okay. And I think you could actually use some of those other tiles to make sure that your line is, like, perfectly diagonal. But I unfortunately just kind of went dig heavy and started digging. But I did find the treasure map. I don't know why I dug there. Probably an accident. So I just dig around for a little bit here. And then I eventually find it. Seems like digging is just something that they love to have you do in Zelda games. At least in the older ones. I guess we don't really see digging too much anymore, but I don't know. Well, I guess we kind of do now. Like when there's boulders in Tears of the Kingdom, you kind of just blow through them, but that's not really digging, so I don't know. Maybe they just really like the whole digging aspect in all their games, because you could dig. Link's Awakening, I'm pretty sure you could dig. Couldn't you? Can't remember if there's a shovel in that one or not. Was there? No, there's shovels in the Oracle games. There's shovels in this game. So I guess maybe they didn't really have you dig too much, but I don't know. It just seems like a really recurring item. But another treasure map, which we unfortunately can't do anything with at the moment, but soon enough we'll be able to do something with it. So what we can do now is leave and go get ourselves a Cyclone Slate. Because we do want to have some very nice traversal. Which speeds things up a lot. Which is nice for me when I'm traveling from one area to another. I don't want to really record it on camera. Just a lot of jumping and whatnot. I guess I didn't cut this part out, but who knows? Maybe I will in the recording. We'll see if I remember. And this little island here that you see, and this is why I didn't cut it out. This is where we get the Cyclone Slate. So I kind of wonder, how long did it take for Hyrule to unflood? Was it like thousands of years? Or how long did it actually take? And how did it even unflood? You know, like, I'm assuming that as soon as Wind Waker ends, that's probably when things start to maybe go normal. I don't know. So, for this island here, you can see there's no map, as Lineback pointed out. You can draw it if you like. Otherwise, you just kind of gotta know where certain things are. Which is not terribly difficult. We just have to hit these statues in a certain order. So there's going to only be one statue that gives us the correct information, which I will find at some point. And it's kind of weird that nobody would have discovered this island. Like, you gotta figure with, like, the way it's designed, somebody has clearly been to this island before, but it's not documented for whatever the reason. Which, I don't know, maybe it's... Because it's hard to believe that Link is, like, one of the only people with a boat, isn't it? There wouldn't be, like, more people that are just curious exploring all these islands and whatnot. Like, if you see an island, you're probably going to go out and explore it, which leads me to believe that maybe boats are kind of scarce. Now that Hyrule's all flooded over? I don't know. It's just always seemed very strange to me. Because I think this is supposed to be Hyrule, is it not? I don't really know. I mean, with the whole power, wisdom, and courage thing going on, I would assume it's Hyrule. In considering that the Temple of the Ocean King has some references to the Triforce, I would assume this has to be Hyrule. But maybe not. Just seems like the most logical thing to me that this is Hyrule. It's just not really mentioned too often that it's Hyrule, you know? Because we've seen in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild how big Hyrule is. So, very well could be part of it, that just people don't talk about it being Hyrule very often. So you might be able to hit these guys right off the bat if you know the order. Just hit them in that right order, but I unfortunately did not know the order, so you gotta talk to this guy. So, with what he said there, it is referring to a boat. So you go by the parts of the boat to figure out which statues to hit first. Which it took me a minute to think about, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think I hit the right guy at first. And once again, the golden frogs get brought up. I think they're in good spots. Because it is nice that in the southwest map, you do have two of them. One for the left side of the map, one for the right. Just makes traversal that much easier there. And I guess Wind Waker did it better, probably, with the traversal around the map, because was that you could warp to any island? Or I can't remember how that worked. But I do know there was a way eventually to fast travel. I just can't remember how that worked. And Spirit Tracks kind of has a method, but I think you need like the Triforce gems. And then I can't remember if you have to put them places or not. But I think that you use the gems to get around fast then. And I wonder, does Link actually hear voices coming out of these guys? Or how does that work? Or is it just like something on a piece of paper that we can't see? I don't know. It's very mysterious though. But now we actually have access to the Cyclone Slate, which is going to be a great help for us, thankfully. And for being like such a magical creature, this cave kind of looks boring. And that little tablet there is just telling you to dig in front of the statue on the left. So we'll do so once we get back outside. And I think there's a treasure map there, which usually seems to be the case when digging. I don't know if there's anywhere in the game where you can dig it and get a power gem or a gem in general. And this is kind of, this conversation that we're having here is kind of hinting at something. If you play the game before, obviously you understand the part he's talking about. But if you haven't played the game, I won't give it away. So now we have the Cyclone Slate. Like I said before, we do need to shoot the frogs first. I'm pretty sure. Some of the symbols that you draw can be kind of a little finicky. You really have to draw them precisely. But on the bright side, when you're drawing the symbols, you're like time's frozen outside the ship, so there's really no rush. It's just a matter of like properly drawing the symbols. And then you'll see those little I don't know what you want to call them, pillars coming out of the ground up there. That is actually going to be for a future item, which we'll be getting quite a bit later. So just make sure you keep that in mind anytime we see these, because we will be able to use them later on. I know that when I was younger, when I first got the item, I was like, whoa, this is so cool, because it's like a, I don't know, a fun traversal item. I mean, you can't use it everywhere, but it's fun to be able to use it when you can. There's our treasure map. And I know it might be overwhelming seeing all these X's come up and not being able to do anything about them, but rest assured, we will eventually be able to do things with them. Okay, so now our next destination is going to be just to kind of get some of the frogs. I forgot what I was doing for a second. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting the frog. So all you have to do for the frogs is just shoot them, which I know seems a little mean, but I think they like it because they probably like the company, you know? Someone's actually talking to them after all this time. So it's basically like a backwards N, or reverse N, whatever you want to call it, for this mark. And if you ever forget the little symbol, you can always come back with these frogs, which will be permanently on the map now. That also tells you where you're going to show up when you draw the symbol. And I just skipped past the little fish part because it didn't go so well. This is going to be the part where we get our next heart container, which all you really have to do is just keep on jump attacking him, and don't be too fast, otherwise you are going to hit him, and then he's going to be like, oh, you must learn. So you can get treasures from him, which we can sell later on, but that's not what we're after. We're after the heart container. So if you mess up, you can just head off the ship this way, which that was a really long plank. I never realized that. And then we can move a little bit, and then dock back on the ship, like that. And then repeat the process, just until you get it. There was a little struggle at first, but eventually I did get it. So all you need is the 100 hits, and then once you get that, you get yourself a nice little heart container, which is always nice to have, is not? Because then you get more health. So you can just let them beat you up now, and you're good. So I think that the most reliable way to actually get the hits on him are just with jump attacks, and then just kind of pacing yourself so that you're not hitting too fast, but also not giving him time to start up his retaliation. And I caught the rusty swordfish off screen, which you can see there. I didn't show the fishing part, but now that I have it, or if you catch it, you do want to head back to the island of the fisherman, and if you have the symbol here, you can just warp using the frog. And like I said before, it's a little finicky on how you draw it, so just make sure it's somewhat precise, because preciseness leads to happiness, and happiness is always good, especially in Zelda games. Only other thing left really to say in this video is that we do have one more fish to catch, but I unfortunately don't catch it anytime soon, which is sad, but it's only for a heart container, so it's not the end of the world just yet. Otherwise, we are going to get some ship parts from him. I think that's the main thing you get from him. If you turn in any other fish, you'll just get ship parts from him, which, you know, it's a ship part. I think you can sell some of them if you have them already, so I don't really know how you do that, but I'm pretty sure you can somewhere on the map. I don't remember where. But that is going to do it for this video. I know it's been a long one. It's probably going to be the longest one in the series, unless I do something like really annoying in one of the other videos. But I want to thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.